Hello, my name is Brian Jarrett. I'm the director of the program on negotiation, conflict resolution, and peace building here at Cal State University Dominguez Hills. The good thing about the program on negotiation, conflict resolution, peace building at Cal State University Dominguez Hills, and what distinguishes it from other university programs, often in law schools and business schools, is that it's applied. And we move beyond what's called the litigated case. The litigated case model is court-connected mediation, basically, court-connected arbitration sometimes as well, where students will learn some skills that connect them to practices in courts. The students often end up in volunteer programs for those court programs. Nothing wrong with that, and we think that's a good thing. However, our program goes further. Our program reaches into the community, into the organizations in the community, and into government, into city government, into EEOC, into investigations, into policing, administration of policing. And so, and HR, generally the HR area is a huge area. So those are areas outside of the litigated case or the court-connected model. What happened in our industry, in the field early on, this is in the 80s and 90s, is that the practice, the work that came about in the court system, and it was often people vying for, some sort of mediation program that would help the judges in a court. And so, different groups, lawyers, psychologists, accountants, all these different, appraisers, anybody who had a connection to the skill set that would allow them to mediate or arbitrate a case, they were drawn to these programs. And there's nothing wrong with that. That was a good base to start the field, by. However, it's expanded. And so our program, the NCRP program, what's good about it is it encourages students to develop the skill sets that will get them jobs in that expanded market, in that expanded field. Now, what are those jobs? There are many jobs, and I'll just give you a few. HR, in the HR area, it's just booming with conflict resolution, dispute resolution approaches. People are now developing practices in HR that are based on the work we do in the NCRP program and other programs across the country. So, you might have now in HR mediation design programs in mediation, negotiation, coaching, investigation, all these things around HR that help a company work better with its employees, and then employees to have a better time, be more productive in that company. So that would be one application. And so HR now is a huge area. And you can think of all the different things you might do: mediation, investigation, fact-finding, early neutral evaluation, arbitration. All these things are connected to that HR area, and that's a developing area of the field. And we have faculty who specialize in that work and can teach you all about it. So people ask, what are the jobs in this area? What kind of work would you be doing? For example, you may become a family mediator. That's working with families to resolve matters that would otherwise go to a court in a divorce case. That's a family mediator. Child protection mediator. That's a mediator that goes in to help families and children to, take care of the children in placement and so forth, where families are having difficulty. In schools, you might have a peer mediation facilitator, and that would be an instructor in the school who actually helps that school when there are discipline problems and, some wrongdoing in a school. The facilitator will actually help those kids resolve that matter. They can help them also build their own peer mediation program, so the students are actually helping as well. NGO management. So this is where we have the 501c3, NGO, any of the nonprofit area. This is another area where they will have facilitators. Sometimes they'll manage the organization or dispute resolution within a particular industry or area. That organization becomes the facilitator of disputes within that area. In criminal justice administration, we're seeing a lot of restorative practices developing. And so nowadays, people are looking to have courts divert cases from the regular criminal process to a dispute resolution process. We call it restorative justice or restorative practices. And so nowadays, there are jobs coming about where people are mediators, they're facilitators of restorative justice practices that help courts and can help schools and other organizations, institutions that are attempting to address, criminal behavior. In the area of restorative practices, that's a really growing area. So the criminal courts are now looking to have people who commit crimes, instead of simply going to prison, we're looking now to have programs that will allow a person to be diverted to some other process, particularly for young people, where they're entering into a facilitated process to look at their behavior so that then they don't repeat, offender behavior and are able to move on to then a better life and not get caught in the criminal system. And this is a really good development. And there are jobs that are around this now that are coming about, program, directors and mediators and people facilitating these processes. Another area we're finding that's growing in the field is international arbitration. It's often international commercial arbitration. There's also a public side to it as well. So that's diplomacy and working in, NGOs connected to government. But let's look for a moment at the private side, the commercial side. International commercial private arbitration is a booming business, and we have faculty who are doing that work. And so anybody interested in international dispute resolution, we can help in our program. We also have the area of labor relations, and this is the relations between management and unions. And in the 70s and 80s, historically, the relations were very adversarial, and they perhaps still are quite a bit. But there's a movement in labor relations to develop mediation, arbitration programs, fact-finding, investigation, all these practices that help management and labor unions come to agreements and to work out solutions rather than to adopt necessarily an adversarial process. Another area is community dispute resolution, community mediation, and restorative practices. There are facilitators who actually, create contracts with city governments, with county governments, and state governments to address community police relations. This is a growing area, and in our program we have faculty who are taking the students to go and facilitate and help facilitate in a co-facilitation role in these disputes. So look for that area as well. It's called the Community Justice, Community Dispute Resolution Area and practices. And it's a bundle of different practices where people make a living helping nowadays police departments, city governments, schools, and the community come together. So if you're interested in areas of arbitration, mediation, fact-finding, investigation, dispute resolution, facilitation, transformative dialogue, in areas such as employment, workplace, labor relations, family, community, organizations, international, then check out our program. I think you'll really enjoy it. And we have website information. We have the faculty listed in their areas. And you're welcome to connect with me and other faculty members in our program, and we'll look forward to talking to you. Thank you.